Hello, my name's Phalafel, and we're back with part 2 of Phalafel Builds Calamity Ganon, and we're tackling the headpiece this time. We're gonna use individual LED lights. Let's get into it! That's a lot. Okay, I'm sorry. I have a styrofoam head block. I got this at Joann's Fabrics for about probably, $10, $13. I use this for wig styling, but what I'm doing is wrapping it with masking tape and drawing a pattern out for the headpiece. The headpiece for Calamity Ganon is gonna just take up the forehead, cut it out, and then transfer it onto paper. And you'll see right here I altered the pattern so that it has more of a curve that fits to my big old forehead. Now here I cut out the pattern, trace it onto LED foam that I got from the wonderful people at Cosplay Supplies. And then I cut it out with an X-Acto blade, and here you'll see I use an angle cut. So this way, when you match the pieces up together, the seam is kind of blended. It doesn't really bulge out like you can see sometimes when you use straight cuts and put things together that are at a curve. So see, they just come together like a little kiss. Look, mwah! It's perfect. Put some contact cement on it, wait about 15 minutes for it to dry and get all tappy, and then you stick it together and boom, you're protecting your skeletals. And again, this is LED foam, so LED light shines right through it and get that glow. So this is the epitome of Phalafel Builds pattern right here. I'm literally taking a piece of paper, taping it into a cylinder, and then cutting it at an angle in the top to make these kind of cylindrical pipes that pop out of Calamity Ganon's head. I don't know what you really want to call it. And then cut the top to the desired length. Test it and see if it fits on top. Cut it in half and then trace this onto LED foam as well. You see here I'm using a light gray marker, that way it just doesn't show as much on the foam as if you use like a darker color or something more pigmented. And then I put contact cement on this as well so that it would curve into the cylinder shape that's gonna lay betwixt my brows. It's not really betwixt. I use pins a lot to try to place pieces together. I made 6 of these cylinder things total, and then I'm just tracing with that light gray marker again where I'm gonna place the contact cement. I put it on the bottom side of each cylinder, and then, as you can see here, and then I just stick them right on. And we're looking good, looking clean. Now I make trims out of foam by cutting them at 2 45-degree angles, so you get this kind of like long rectangular beveled edge trim. Using it to ornament the headpiece, add some design to it. This is regular EVA foam, 1/4 inch, also provided by Cosplay Supply. Calamity Ganon is really interesting in that he has these kind of organic stone-like designs. What I'm doing with this is I'm using hot glue to kind of mimic the texture and structure of this design. And then using some foam clay, I'm going in and adding more texture, more design, trying to make it look more earthy and stone-like and almost like dried lava rock all around the top of the headpiece and around these little cylindrical pipe things. Foam clay is nice because basically you can work and mold and sculpt it like regular clay, but what it'll do is it dries as EVA foam after 24 hours. This means it's very light, perfect for something that's going to be laying on your head for however many hours. After all that's done, I take a heat gun and I use it to seal the foam to prepare it for priming and painting. Here's a closer look of the headpiece and all the designs to make it look all rocky and menacing. Oh, my gross nails, Jesus. And then I'm using Flexbond, also provided by Cosplay Supplies. What it basically is a foam and warbler primer. So a few coats, I think I used 3 coats total mixed with a little bit of water. Flexbond is also nice because it's flexible, so it can bend, get kind of tousled up a little bit and it won't crack. After the Flexbond dries, I go in with a sponge brush, paint black acrylic paint. I did go in with a wet paper towel afterwards and rubbed off some of the layers of the black paint, because if you use dark paint on LED foam, sometimes the lights don't shine through as brightly. I also plated the trim, the other details, and the hot glue with various brown paints, make it look more stone-like. Now here's the fun part, trying to figure out circuits for single LEDs and how to work this all out. So this is what the final LED series looks like, and I'll go through and explain how I made that right now. Okay, I'm prefacing this by saying I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. Alright, I'm learning just like y'all. This is just what worked out for me. I don't even know if what I'm gonna explain makes mathematical sense, but this is how my brain works. Alright, disclaimer done, we're getting into it. So right here you see I pictured one 9-volt battery. I ended up using 2. I'll explain why in just a little bit. You also see that I have a 9-volt battery plug, a resistor, and I ended up using 8 LEDs to power the headpiece. So the LEDs that I use are 5mm orange LEDs that are 3V, 3 voltage, I believe. The V, just, I don't know if you just say 3 voltage. I don't know what the verbiage is, whatever. In order to properly power an LED without burning it out, you will need a resistor. And here's a little bit of math in order to figure out what type of resistor that you would need for the amount of power that you're using and the type of LED. Because there's many different voltage types of LEDs, many different batteries, many different resistors. The current for a 3-volt LED is 20 milliamps, which also equals 0.02 amps. So to figure out the type of resistor that you would need, here's a formula I found online. It's R equals V1 minus V2 divided by I. So R being the resistor, V1 is going to be your battery voltage, V2 is going to be your LED voltage, I is the current. I don't know why current uses I and not C or M or something else, but that's the formula, so we're gonna keep going. So the resistor would equal 9 volts minus 3 volts divided by 0.02 amps. That's gonna equal 300 ohms is the unit. The resistor that I ended up buying off of Amazon, it was 330. That's gonna be enough for this connection. So this is where it's less actual factual things that are for sure correct and more Falafel just kind of pulling stuff out of her head, and it ended up working. So in Falafel's brain, 9 volts of battery power should evenly distribute 3 volts to 3 LED lights. Now, if I wanted to power 4 LEDs, the distribution of voltage would actually be 2.25. And I did notice this testing this series because the lights weren't as bright as if I connected just 3. Doing 4 was a little bit dimmer. Trying to do 8, I didn't want to short out any of the power, so I just used 2 9-volt batteries in the series instead of just 1. So LED lights have 2 prongs, the shortest one being the negative side and the longest one being the positive side. I connected the red positive wire of the first battery pack to the resistor, and then connected the other end of the resistor to the positive side of one LED. And then from there connected negative prongs to the next positive prong of each LED. So at the last LED, I connected the negative prong to the black negative wire of the second battery pack and the positive wire of the second battery pack to the negative wire of the first battery pack. Hey, this is future Falafel telling past Falafel what a dunce you are for forgetting to add the on-off switch. So the on-off switch actually connects between the last LED and the second battery pack. So the negative of the on-off switch, the black cord, will actually connect to the negative of the last LED, and the positive of the on-off switch is going to connect to the negative black cord of the second battery pack. Alright, continue, thanks, bye! That is the full complete series, and I managed to have it work. And after it was done, I had working lights, and they shine through the LED foam, yay! If you watch part 1 of the Calamity Ganon series, you'll see all the materials I used to solder the wires for the LEDs together, and actually I used electrical tape over the connections so that they wouldn't short out. And then I stuck each LED light into the cylinders of the headpiece, which also were large enough to hide the batteries, which is great. I also put 2 LEDs in the front part of the headpiece and near the pendant so that it glows through underneath all the stony bits. And the switch just hides right behind. Lastly, I hot glued 2 bobby pins onto the foam so that I could just slip it underneath my wig. And just like that, now you have glowing lava rocks that jut out your skull when you're waiting for the chosen hero to come back and catch these hands again. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. You can follow me on all my socials. Instagram at Phalafel Cosplays, Twitter at Phalafel Cosplay because they won't let me have the S, Facebook at Phalafel Cosplays. Big thanks to Cosplay Supplies for providing all the LED foam and Flexbond used in this tutorial. And yeah, part 3 is gonna come out soon, so thank you so much for watching. Okay, bye!